Welcome to a fine gaming experience, everyone. It's This Way Lies Madness, or Bricks. I have that voice in the background with me again.
Hey, it's Ice.
And today we are finally going to take down that angry, fire-breathing T-Rex.
My money's on a horrible death for you.
Well, he is a horrible monstrosity to fight early on, but I think we're ready.
One of the I was going to say something, but that little guy is very distracting. One of the most important...
Hunters of the 5th, come see me.
One of the most important things about this game is that you will find walls. There will be monsters that you just struggle with, and that's fine. In fact, I recommend a lot of times that you go online with other hunters and watch them fight. Pick a ranged weapon, or just play very defensively to see how they fight the other monster. Or you could also go on YouTube and check it out there. Lots of players have tons of playthroughs.
Like this one.
Like this one. Like this very playthrough.
You might be watching right now if you're hearing us talk.
I don't think so. That's far-fetched.
Hey.
The Pokemon?
You'll see that a lot. You'll finish a conversation with somebody, and immediately you'll turn around to run away, only to realize that they have another quest for you.
Which gets a little annoying since he was just like, hey, tools.
We have one very useful tool. Are you going to be using it coming up?
I actually don't in this fight.
Ooh.
New products in stock.
And you were telling me before I should load up on my ammo, but now is the time to load up on ammo. They finally extended their stock, and before I would only be able to buy the ammo they were giving me during missions, but now, whoomph.
Tons.
Many, many ammos.
The best place to pick that up is during a festival. I recommend, if you decide you don't want to use ammo, I still recommend picking up a ton of it, because you may change your mind. Well, Monster Hunter's a long game. Sometimes you just want to mix it up, try a new weapon out, and the ranged weapons are very fun.
And the ammo can get very expensive. You either need to farm a lot of little bits, which the tree is great for, or just buy a ton. And money isn't too hard to come by in this game. And this person gives us a very important quest. We can start upgrading our tree so we can get even more fertilizer and more components coming off it, stuff like that. Very important to get that upgrade done.
Pretty easy quest, too. Our gathering quests aren't too terrible until we find the first, what will we call it? Supply quest. Supply quests are where you have to go find a specific item and physically bring it back to camp. Those ones can be quite tough.
The egg mission I have right now, actually, I'm going to do later on and show that off for just how annoying those can get.
I'm a big fan of the Untitled Armor. It especially looks great if you do a weapon that has some sort of a unique flair to it. In fact, the Longsword it looks great with.
And it looks pretty awesome, too. Like, I like the big pauldrons, the spiky-ish armor bits to it. And it's got some interesting skills on it. Again, the mobility. Muck resistance, which is bleh, as we know. Water attack, though, I will be taking. Because it's time to change up our weapon, and if you can't tell, the next weapon is going to be Water Elemental. Focus is very handy, and I should have really, I was debating taking that one. I'll let you explain what the skill does for that one.
Focus is a very unique skill, and you know what? I'm actually going to say I don't remember what Focus does. I just remember it's useful.
It builds up your bar faster for attacks like the Longsword and other ones that build up their bar.
That would be Dual Blades. There's a few others out there. There are hundreds of skills in this game.
The Kodachi Armor, as you can tell, looks very different. I'm not a big fan of the... I'm not even sure
how... Fluffy fur coat look?
Yeah, she, like the airliner waitress kind of thing, you know? Like,
it's
I feel
the
like
little hat.
Yep. But the Kodachi set is actually pretty interesting, because it gives you a lot of endurance, and it gives you the ability to dodge a lot, and use heavy attacks with lightning. Because we got that tree too, we were able to pick up a bug from it, which gave us the ladybug armor. It's very cute, not very powerful, but that weapon has paralysis on it.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a large amount of paralysis, but it does add up, and very often during hunts you will get a free stuck monster.
It's very handy to do that.
I love the Azure Star Armor.
Ditto. Those little shards we got from taking on 3 Jagras will let us equip our cat with this armor, and it's time to change it up, so...
How many times did you have to take on that mission in order to get all the things you needed?
6. They only gave me 1 shard each time.
And that is a problem with doing a lot of those event quests up in the arena. You will very often try to make a full set, and you might get unlucky and only get 1 piece. Some of the missions actually give you 0 pieces, which I'm not a big fan of that.
No. That's the problem with the arena quests, is you might be really, really trying to get a specific coin from doing the arena fights, and it just won't give it to you. And those fights are so annoying to start with.
We haven't actually been in any of the serious arena fights yet, but they do get more difficult, especially because you don't get to pick your loadout.
And here we go, our first workshop weapon. You can see everything else is related to a monster, and this is just called Azure Star Tree. And this weapon can get upgraded again from this point, but I had to get 3 shards just to make this bad boy.
Now, if I remember correctly, the Azure Star Blade, I believe it was connected to something to do with Universal Studios Japan.
Yes.
It was like a special reward that they did, and it was only in the Japanese version of the game for a very long time until they got the rights to put it in here. And that's one of the things about a lot of Capcom's games. There are a lot of cross-promotions that they love to do, and sometimes they don't get the international rights, or even the North American rights.
It was nice to see that quest get added up regularly, though, instead of once per holiday event.
Plus, I love this weapon. It is absolutely gorgeous. A little over the top, but one in Monster Hunter isn't.
And it is a great weapon. Not the best with Longsword, but it is a top-tier weapon, and it's kind of obvious why once you start using it.
While we're eating here... Oh! Got our first upgrade.
Yep, the canteen is going to give us some good gains now that he's upgraded.
Yeah, it looks absolutely awesome as they keep making it larger and larger. Must be an uncomfortable place to work with all that heat, though.
I've worked in kitchens like that.
You've worked in kitchens with a bunch of giant stacked ovens towered up to the sky.
Okay, maybe not that high, but I've worked in, like, directly in front of hot, flaming grills, so...
Not a lot of fun.
No.
So as we get into the actual use of the longsword, I'm going to explain a lot of the strengths and weaknesses of the weapon. I will say, I absolutely recommend you spend some time on solo missions with this before you go online, because the longsword is unfortunately known as a noob trap. It is an amazing weapon. However, it very easily disrupts other players with its wide sweeps and swings. Makes it easy for you to hit the monster, but it makes it very hard for other players to actually do combos. So learn how to use it, and especially learn your thrusts and your downward slashes, because you're going to need to use those in online play. And it may be a bit more boring than the normal combos, but it is essential that you use those so you don't mess with your friends.
Not something I have to worry about solo right now, but... Could you picture if giant creatures were just, like, picking up other monsters and throwing them around like this? Wouldn't that be just terrible?
I wouldn't last a day in this world. Not one.
Yeah, they do scenarios like, would you survive in the Walking Dead world and stuff like that. Monster Hunter, yeah, we barely made it landing on the island in the first place.
I'm sure we get killed by malaria or some ancient bug that bit us and turned us into a small creature that ran around eating other creatures. There's too many horrible things in this. Like having giant lizards thrown at your face.
And it's kind of odd because we dropped that rock on him during the cutscene, but I'm going to do it again. That great Jagras he threw at us is actually here.
Right on the head. Great work.
Now the Longsword is an interesting weapon. It has great reach, like the name would suggest. It's not a Western Longsword, it's more of a no-dachi type weapon. And the basic attacks are normal, but every time you go into your spirit attacks, you're going to armor pierce everything. It doesn't matter if you're hitting an armored part or not, it's just going to pierce right through for the damage.
And one of the things that you'll notice is there's a white flash around the bar right there, and that is actually created by finishing one of those R2 combos, the Spirit Slash combos. If you hit the last hit, you can see it just happen right there, you'll get a boost. Now that's actually a direct boost to all of your damage. Until that goes away, you're going to be doing, I believe it's 5, 10, and I believe 25% damage. May not be quite that high, but once you get it up to red, you're doing a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, that damage boost when you get it up to tier 3 is very high.
This is Anjanath's nastiest move, in my opinion. He will start burrowing towards you. It's kind of like a tank. He can only turn so much as he moves, but he will keep attacking, and his feet and his head and every part of him is just dangerous.
He does a long rut in the ground, and if you get caught in that, you will take so much damage.
Another move you just showcased with the Longsword is that little Fade Slash. You're able to do attacks with the Longsword that hop you to the left and right for repositioning, and it's a very, very good way to stay out of monsters' ranges.
The Longsword is surprisingly maneuverable. You wouldn't really think about it being one of those types of weapons at first, but you have a lot of attacks that will reposition you either left to right or back and forward, and you are given your full range of dodge mobility with this. It's not like any of those heavy shield weapons I was using before, where you can really roll out of the way fairly effectively.
It is also one of the best defensive weapons in the game, however, there's a caveat to that. It is one of the best defensive weapons in the game if you as a player are phenomenally good at timing. It has a special attack you can do where in your middle of a combo, you have to be attacking when you do it. Oh boy.
This is a little special here. It's the first time we're going to see something. A turf war.
And we do not want to tangle with that Rathalos. It is the Monster Hunter's mascot. It has been so for the entirety of the series. And it is a dangerous creature. It will probably kill us with ease if we try to take it on.
He just picked up the T-Rex and dropped him on his head, so yeah, it's a good sign we might not want to tackle with the big dragon. Good thing I took some poop pods with me, though.
Yeah, we're finally going to get to show those. I got some poison smoke bombs there. Nice.
Yep. I came out extra prepared for this fight. I wanted to show off a few more things that I didn't actually get the chance to.
But that defensive attack I was talking about, it has a special property in that it makes you entirely invincible for a small window. You can be in the middle of an attack, and when an enemy goes to attack you, you will counterattack, and the game will give you this little ping sound effect when you do it properly. You'll be able to immediately go into a quick combo and finish off that combo to build up your bar from white to orange to red, whatever it is. I am a very skilled longsword player, and I've been using it for a long while, but even I still can't quite get the timing perfect.
The timing on that window compared to other counterattacks is very narrow. It's a very small window, but very effective once you get it right.
For all those Dark Souls players out there, think about using a parry with a standard speed shield as opposed to a parry shield, and that's about what you're looking at.
Anjanath is a weird monster because he breathes fire, and he's... If you notice earlier on, we were collecting mucus. He has a lot of phlegm. He's just building up and throwing around everywhere. And that tends to build up in his neck, so if you attack his neck, it's actually a really big weak point.
If if you can time your hit right, you can actually hit him right before he's about to let out a breath, and he will just explode.
Use those poison smoke bombs. Not the most effective against him, but it is a pretty easy way to get extra elemental damage on him.
He's slow right now, too, which is a good time to go in and hit him.
He's pretty tired.
One of the biggest problems about fighting Anjanath that a lot of players have is you're used to fighting enemies that are all on one level, and Anjanath's one of the first monsters you can't really hit his head with anything but the highest reaching attacks. So your ranged players are going to have a little bit of an easier time, and any weapon that attacks up to down... Oh! Ooh, that was close situation.
And then I accidentally climbed the vines.
I think it actually might have saved you there, though. That big jump.
And here's something else that I do, is I use the Vigor Wasp delivery system. Because I've been leveling up my palico using those Vigor Wasps, he's gotten 2 new abilities. He can actually set down a Vigor Wasp, and I can activate it whenever I want to get healed. Or I can call him over, and he'll come, fly underneath the Vigor Wasp, and try to drop it off at me.
The Longsword isn't traditionally that great at mounting, unless you go for some Spirit Splash attacks off of a jump. But that was a pretty good mount either way, and every weapon in the game can mount. Believe it or not, even the bow is actually pretty decent at mounting. But we'll talk about that when you play with that weapon. One of the best attacks to knock any monster down.
I haven't shown off the fantastic attack yet, but you will see that very soon. I'm kind of targeting the tail, and you'll see at the very end... Oh,
here we go. Spirit Helm Splitter. Tons of damage.
That was added just in Monster Hunter World, I understand.
Yes, it was. Yep.
And it can do so much damage.
There are a couple rules to that attack. You're going to notice that the bar is flashing right now. After you hit that, you'll start to have a drain on your resources, but it'll start filling up your spirit gauge rapidly, which is very handy.
Yeah, you can go right from a Helm Splitter. It drops your level from red to yellow, or yellow to white, or white to none.
Nothing. Mm-hmm.
But it'll refill it back up.
Yeah, it'll fill it right back up, which allows you to do combos. It's a very cyclic weapon. You'll find a lot of the weapons that have bars that charge up are like that. There's a... Uh-oh.
Here's something a few monsters can do, is basically throw you on the ground, but this is one of the reasons I brought my flash pods. It's one of the easiest ways to get out of those attacks if they throw you to the ground.
Now, you notice there's a bit of maneuverability there. Unfortunately, Bricks rolled just a little bit out of the way for that slash. It does have pretty much one of those, if you touch the monster, the entire thing hits situations. But even if you miss, you still lose that bar.
Which kinda sucks. But he twisted weirdly, and I aimed it just a little bit off.
And we call that the Superman dive, that slash. Oh, there's the Spirit Slash off jumping I was talking about.
Which is very nice, because you can go from that...
Oh, the tail! Excellent cut, right as he was running away.
First time I've actually cut off a tail. I've been wanting to do that since I first started. I've gotten so many test runs where I did it to a monster but didn't actually record it, and there's his severed stump. Which is very handy, because attacks like his tail sweep now...
Oh, I'm gonna get munched on again.
I still got my flash pods. And I really want to trigger that frog. Toad.
That's a bomb.
Yeah, there's a clear difference.
Powerful type of slinger, I know they can do some serious damage.
Bomb pods I love. They're just little slinger things that explode for blast damage when they hit for a lot. Tend to knock over a lot of monsters and interrupt attacks as well.
They do, yeah. They actually do a large amount of KO damage, the same kind of damage that a lot of the blunt weapons in the game do.
And he's hurt. Just make sure he's hurt enough.
Yeah, so you barely touched him there. Just barely touched him, and he still took the full combo.
Which is all you need, though. Now we got a pink Barney captured.
Are you going to remember the tail? Let's find out.
I get it just in time. The problem with capturing is they only give you 20 seconds to do anything, and I literally get it just in time. But like I was mentioning before, cutting off parts like the tail will almost guarantee you get a tail.
Mm-hmm. Oddly, sometimes you don't get a tail off that. I've gotten a gem off that, but you want gems. Gems are about the rarest thing you're going to get off any monster, and they are extremely important for some of the best armor sets and weapons in the game.
Sometimes you can even just get, like, here's a basic scale or something off the monster, which can be very disappointing. It's not easy to sever the limbs of some monsters.
Now, you came close to death a couple times there, but you keep squeaking by.
I'm too used to using my heavy defensive weapons where I can block and whatnot. It'd be great if I could get the timing for that counter, but I'm not that good at it. It's such a tight window.
Well, practice makes perfect.
Exactly. That's why it's a top-tier weapon, though. You practice enough, you will become able to deal a huge amount of damage and dodge immediately to just deal more damage right back.
Well, looks like the plans are coming together.
Yeah, they're getting fully militarized here to take on Zora, which is nice to see. Even though he's a giant mountain of a monster, they're really getting prepared for it.
I have all of you to thank for working double time to make it happen. I'm especially impressed with the 5th. They're hunting the
Right, you don't think we're going to actually try to hit him with a club or a giant sword, are you?
We can take him down with our slingers, I'm sure.
Well done. When will Zora
Funny enough, the slingers do serve an important purpose.
As we'll see next episode.
Good.
I actually will take on Zora next episode. It's not like they're tricking me. I finally will be taking on that big monster.
I don't believe it.
The operation will commence.
Yeah, I'm going to take on a butterfly next.
Built 2 barriers in the target's path.
I had to think for a moment. Is there a butterfly in this game? Kinda.
Initially,
There's a
we're
puffer
aimed
wump.
down with cannon and ballistic
There is a
fire.
puffer wump, yep.
Restrain it with binders.
This is the first time we'll be seeing some of these heavy artillery weapons we can bring into a fight.
This is also, unfortunately, my least favorite type of fight, a gimmick fight. You're not really going to be using your weapons a lot, you're more going to be interacting with the environment, and to a lot of players it's a sort of a strange shift when you have to immediately change over to this new way of playing the game. Especially when you just fought the Anjanath, probably died 30 times to it, and are raring to fight something a little easier.
It does make it a little bit more story-based, though. It
That's
is
true.
a nice way to take it on compared to other monsters, because we can't exactly take it on like we would the Anjanath.
Don't worry, Commander.
Everything will be in order.
Keep your ears open during the operation. I'll be giving orders as the situation unfolds. May the
Samurai
Sapphire
Cat.
Star light your way.
With the armored ears.
Dismissed.
Wow, the big moment is finally here. I'm shaking up a storm here. How about you?
We're about to beat the game, aren't we?
Yep, that's it, everyone. We're going to go take on the last boss, Zora Magdaros.
And there's nothing else to worry about. That's it. So I guess join us next time for the final episode. It's not the final episode.
Or is it? Dum dum dum. Well, I hope you all join us next time when we take on this epic quest. And take care, all.
Zoom.
Zoom, 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 zoom.